What is going on? So today I want to go over the meeting script and show you the mistakes I made myself at the beginning when I was just starting out with social media marketing. Because what I did was the exact opposite of what I've written out here for you. What I did literally was get a pen and paper, write out literally every question I had here in the script and ask it to the business owner. And the biggest pitfalls I made is I asked questions that didn't even make sense, that weren't applicable in the conversation because it didn't relate to the problem. So today I just want to show you like a logical way to go about it and why it's like made the way it's made. Okay, so basically in kind of like any sales meeting, you always like start with small talk. Okay, just a little bit of small talk. This could be as short as 30 seconds, and you could be talking about something as simple as the weather, right? It's just a little bit of small talk, just a human to human conversation, very simple. And what I like to do myself as well is actually to compliment the person you are in a meeting with to break the ice, because it's always better to create like a little bit of a friend relationship at the start. However, this does vary from personality to personality because a lot of business owners just want to keep it on a high business level. And you will notice this most of the time. But this is actually good if you do this, because this way you can determine the personality and the way on how you should actually go about the meeting and what kind of flow you want to like implement. All right, so just really simple, just introduce yourself if they aren't aware of like who you are already. Usually for myself, I don't really have to do this, but for most people, they reach out to businesses and then they have to introduce themselves to what I do. This is why I love having inbound leads, so I have to skip this whole part and not qualify myself. However, this is applicable to most agency owners, right? So simply say who you are, say what you do and what you're specialized in and what makes you different. And to add on to it, you can also show any case studies if you like. So yeah, that's just an example right here. And then what I do is I set the expectations right from the start, right? You don't want to be doing this at the end, when you are actually going for the close and then they're like, wait, so this is actually a service pitch. So set the expectations right from the start so they know exactly what kind of goal there is with this meeting and your questions actually make sense. Okay, so set the expectations right from the start. So yeah, this is always like what I say is perfect. This is how our discovering meetings usually go. I don't want to waste either of our time, so ask some questions about your business, and if we think you're a good fit, we'll explain more about what we do, and then you can make a decision if you want to be a part of it or not. Does it sound good? So as you can see, this is kind of a roller coaster. So this is where you set like the frame, right? And then you kind of compensate it with like a higher tonality with, does it sound good? So I will say this, just very straight to the point, right to business, because basically what you're doing here, you're qualifying them, whether they're, qualified for your business. This is why you say, if we think you're a good fit for what we do, whether you can actually help them or not. So, yeah, that's why you have to set the expectations right from the start. So like business owner is aware of like what the direction is of the meeting. So yeah, on to the next one. So you can ask questions like, this is a very good question because here they're going to be listing out like why they are on a meeting with you and not another agency, okay, and why they're giving you their time. But this is only mostly going to happen after digging deeper, okay, this whole part right here. So basically what you want to do here is dig deeper, because you're usually going to get some BS answer like, oh, well, you called me, or, I want to learn more about what you do. So you have to really dig deeper and see why they're actually giving you their time, right? A business owner's time is super valuable. So you have to like find out like what they think they can get out of the meeting. So make sure you dig deeper and actually get an answer for yourself. So you can use it as ammunition later on for when you go for the close, for example, right? So maybe they tell you like, yeah, so I've seen that you've got previous results for realtors before, for example, right? And I would just love to see if this is applicable to my, to what I'm doing as well. So, that's like ammunition that you can use later on when you go for the close, for example, if, it doesn't like go smoothly. So, on to the next thing. So you want to understand their business, right? So we're talking about realtors here. So you want to ask them questions like this. This is just a few examples. Who's your ideal client? What is the exact area you're targeting? This is very important. And what is your average home price? And this way you can always also like determine what you're going to be charging, because they only get a certain amount of commission. So you could also, how much commission do you get off a deal? So this is actually a question you should ask first and then ask this, and that way you can like kind of determine your service fee better. So yeah, these are two awesome questions. These are actually the two most important ones in my opinion. So yeah, on to the next one. Why do you think people choose you as their real estate agent? See, and asking this question, you're making them qualify themselves to you, because they have to tell you why people pick them. And usually it's hard for a realtor to actually separate themselves, because there's a lot of competition there, right? So if they have a good point on like why people should actually choose them instead of another realtor, you can also use this for your own marketing, right? Another USP. And then gathering. Okay, so you're also gathering ammunition here. So with this question, can you explain your current digital marketing strategy just for some context? So usually what they're going to say is no. Um, or usually what they say is I don't have anything in place. It's mainly referrals and word of mouth. In other words, they're saying that they are not happy with the current client acquisition method they have, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't be on a meeting, because this is currently what they're doing, right? So, and they also do realize that social media marketing is really important. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on a meeting, right? So, and then the other thing is, where are your most clients coming from? And usually they say this in like the first question, but if they don't, good question to ask. So you can use this also as ammunition later on. Yeah, because if you go for the close and they do not do any Facebook ads, then you can like show the potential with it. Usually they know this themselves, so yeah, that's pretty good. Do you have a process in place to get consistent qualified leads? So we're just gonna assume they don't do any Facebook ads, okay? So usually what they're gonna say is no. And then, are you happy with this and only relying on word of mouth or referrals? And if they say yes, you can say, of course, it's great that it's been working so far, but if there's other things that out there that could improve your business even more, I'm sure you want to know more about them, right? And simply what you're doing here is still making sure they're interested. They're interested. Obviously you want to maintain high authority, but you also want to make sure they're still interested, right? So yeah, this is usually them like saying, I don't have anything in place. I have no system in place for to gain consistent qualified leads for my to make new deals. So you can simply go ahead and this is a long script, guys. So like this is confusing to me because usually what I only use is really an outline, and I know what kind of question to ask in a certain situation. But it's just to give more people insight on when you're an agency owner on why this makes sense. So yeah. And this is kind of a pitch and showing the importance, and also telling them like they're leaving money on the table by not utilizing, Facebook ads, because a lot of realtors are doing this already. And this is where you gain more commitment off them, because if they agree with this, if they are allowing you to ask more specific questions, then, they're interested. And if you still haven't broken the ice yet, you still feel like a little bit of uncomfort in the meeting, a little bit of tension, then just say it playfully, laughingly. Guys, tonality is really important in sales. So if that's the case, simply follow this. So this is to gain commitment as well as digging deeper, because people usually don't like to share their revenue, okay? They don't like to share their numbers, because usually it's either one, most of the times they're just like kind of embarrassed to share it, or number two, they find it really, like a personal question that they don't want to share. So yeah, it could be like either of those things. It really depends from individual to individual, but usually that's the case. But if they do share it, that's big. That's big, because when I was at a meeting and asked this, they actually got offended. So if they do share this, that's big, and you can use this to get a better point of view about the business and where it's currently at. And then once you know where they're at, you should find out where they want to be, right? Because you can like tell them, this is point A, this is point B, and like the gap in between is like you can make that gap like filled. Like you bringing them from point A to point B. So yeah, what is your goal this year for the amount of revenue you want to make? So like this is them envisioning like their point B or what they want to get at. And this is very, very powerful, because what happens here is they're going to be imagining what it would feel like and look like to actually achieve all these goals that they're going to be setting up, to get to. So, questions like, how would things be different for your business if you got to? And especially this one, how would it, be to get like to X amount on other areas of your life, you know, because a lot of realtors, you know, actually like a lot of people just want more free time, you know, to like spend with their family or, you know, do whatever they want. So, and then you dig deeper, you know, so you have more ammunition. So you have more ammunition that you can fire at the close if they object. Okay. And then releasing control. Okay. So what you want to do here is lose a little bit of authority and go ahead and ask this question, right? You're kind of like getting more of their commitment, because this is once again super important for once you go for the close. You have to like gradually build this up question by question, right? And here's where they explain. So tell me what's stopping you from achieving that on your own. So basically, what is happening here is they explain to you why they can't do this without you, right? Because they aren't capable of doing this on their own. So AK not being able to do it without you, because they already know you are the solution to the problem if you've done everything correctly. Okay, and then you're gonna gain more commitment. You're gonna gain more commitment. You know, like I feel this script is super long and I wouldn't follow it, to be honest. But this is the basic script that is in the 30-day SMMA, so I just want to go over it, and I also obviously want to show like why all of most of these questions aren't really like applicable. You know, because some people already are like super committed, and to like overcommit them is also like a turn off. So that's definitely what I would add on to this. So yeah, I would just, yeah. So we're gonna be moving on to the next part, and that is acknowledging. Okay, acknowledging like that you can actually help them solve the problem. You know, you're gonna be showing that you are the expert. So you do kind of like a little bit of a pitch here, and then you ask for their permission if you can explain how you structure your services and how we can help them. Okay, and once you've done that, once you've done everything correctly, okay, you're about to close them. And then the last thing to make sure you don't face any objections is you ask them, awesome, so what sort of questions do you have? And if they don't have any questions, proceed to the close. And you go for the 4 yes strategy. Usually it's triple yes strategy, but 4, you know, the more people say yes, the more likely they are, you know, to say yes when you go for the close as well. So this is kind of like a psychological strategy. Worked really well for me, and I would definitely recommend if you aren't like familiar with the strategy yet, definitely give it a try. So these are all questions that you could only answer yes or no to. And if the realtor would say yes 4 times and you go for the close, like you've hyped them so up, you've gained so much commitment, that they're obviously going to be saying yes if you've done everything correctly, right? And now, once you state the price, okay, once you state the price, you go silent. Okay, this is a mistake a lot of people make, because what they usually do after saying the price, they instantly justify themselves, and this is a big turnoff, because when this happens, people do know you are not like confident in what you're selling. Okay, if you're confident in what you're selling, you state the price and that's it, and they say either yes or they have a question, right? That's the only 2 ways it could really go. Okay, and then if they say yes, then you have a freaking close, right? But there's also a more aggressive approach where you can go with action based, but I'm just going to stick with this because I don't want to overwhelm you guys. Personally, I feel like this script is way too long and just a lot of unnecessary questions. But still, as I said, this is the script that a lot of people have in front of them in the 30-day group, so that's why I want to go over it. I've also removed a lot, but either way, the outline is good, because pretty much, once again, to recap, you start with small talk. I compliment the business owner personally, so that's why I added onto it. Then you introduce yourself, and then you set the expectations, okay? And then you gather all this ammunition. You let them do 80% of the talking. You do only 20% of the listening, all right? And providing the solution of value. And this is pretty much like the whole process, from the start till the close. Because what you're mainly doing here is gathering ammunition, gaining commitment, and then simply stating yourself as an expert that you can actually provide a solution, and then going for the close. So yeah, guys, hope this video helped. Hope it gave you a little bit of a better insight. If you want to know any more specifics about sales, because this is just a script I've covered, there's a lot more importance to sales, like tonality, like body language, you know, words that you're using. So yeah, guys, hope this helps. If you have any questions about sales, do leave it in the comments or send me a PM. And yeah, hope this was of value to you guys. Keep crushing it.